Hi, and a very warm welcome to the Coaching Life Pod. And I'm your host, Rich Hunter Rice. Hey, how are you? And a very warm welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of the Coaching Life Pod. Those of you who don't know me yet, I am Rich Hunter Rice and I am your host. I'm also the founder of Minerva Growth, and my signature coaching program is MG Momentum. So lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for joining me again. Again, thank you for all of the feedback we've had, and hopefully you've seen my recent posts over the last few days where we've been listened to now in, I believe, 14 countries around the world, and the audience is growing all the time. So thank you so much for all of the support. So, a couple of things. Before we jump into this week's episode, which is a great interview, but I'll cover that in a second. So I've just talked about MG Momentum. MG Momentum is my signature coaching program, and it's all about helping online coaches gain predictable clients and scale their business past those 20k months, whether it's dollars, euros, pounds, you name it, it's all the same the way we look at it, and it's helping you scale past those numbers. That's what it's all about. So if you're interested, just reach out. It's absolutely fine. And then the other thing is we have a really amazing group of online coaches, a community on Facebook called Online Coaches Predictable Clients. And I will drop the link in the show notes. We're currently at 3,400 odd online coaches. And it's all about collaboration, it's about sharing, and it's about, not feeling lonely, because this online coaching gig can be bloody isolating. And I hear that twice, 3 times, 4 times a day, every single day. So if you are in that position where you're spending large amounts of time on your own and you want some direction, join the community. So Online Coaches Predictable Clients is a very safe space to be. There's not loads of bullshit spamming. We open it up on a Monday, so Monday is hashtag Marketing Monday. You can publicize yourself. Wednesday we often do, where you can promote your own events that are coming up as well. And it's a really safe space to collaborate. Anyway, that is it. That is enough from me. And on to today's amazing guest. So today I am joined by the amazing Ice. She is the Instagram queen, and she's absolutely dominating her space, but also has a real zest for life. If you want to talk about, being a nomadic type of life and living the dream and building the life that you want, this is the person to follow. And I love the kind of stuff that she does and the way she works on Instagram. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Coaching Life podcast. So the first question, as always, is who are you, where are you, and what you do, please?
Thank you for having me here. I think who are you? This question is probably the most difficult for everyone. So on paper, like business terms, I am Instagram and business coach. I help service-based businesses and other coaches get clients from Instagram organically, no paid ads. And I've been doing this for 3 years. So this is like in the business terms. And then on the other hand, I am more like a digital nomad, so to say. I'm very much into mindfulness and consciousness. I really like incorporating this into my business. So for the 3 years that I've been running my business, I've been all the time traveling, doing various self-care and mindful practices and so on. So currently I am in Dubai, but my home base is in Ibiza, where I spend most of the time. But during the winter, I like to travel to Dubai, Bali, Thailand, those kind of places. And so, yeah, I think I kind of answered the question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer. Thank you. You've had an inspiring journey. We've been connected on Instagram, I think, for some time, and you're one of the people that stands out. And I always see your content, and I think you share a very authentic and true journey, which is what it's all about, which is what the Coaching Life podcast is all about. That's really, really cool. So how did you get into all this? Well, take me all the way back to, 3 years prior. How did you get into the online coaching space?
Okay, so yeah, it was a bit of a journey. And I think at least with my story and probably a lot of people's stories, it started with self-discovery. At the end, looking for who am I? What is my passion? And, like in this book, Alchemist, probably this book, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This journey. So it was pretty much like that. So I was all the time like looking for those like signs of the universe or God showing me where should I go. And eventually when life became really hard and I faced some like really difficult situation, that was actually during the pandemic because my life turned upside down. I was organizing royal weddings, but then pandemic happened and then I lost my job in Dubai. And then not only that, also my personal life kind of crashed. So basically, I was back home living with my parents without a job, just having some savings and like a loser. Like, because I was in my mid 20s, maybe, or late 20s. So that age and in my country, and I think most society norms, it's like I should already have a house, a husband, a kid, but I had nothing and I was back living with my parents. So I was thinking like, oh my God. So that's how it started because I was so broken and feeling like a loser and failure. I didn't have any other way but to go back up. And that's when I decided. So I think that making a decision is so powerful because I decided that I'm going to start my business. I don't know how I'm going to make money, but my goal was working for myself online so I could travel and have freedom lifestyle. So that's when I started looking into coaching and so since very long time, I was always active on Instagram. The reason I was active on Instagram without even having a business, because I knew the power of network. I knew just that by just being active, sharing my journey, sharing my thoughts, what I'm doing, I was connecting with so many people and I found it so powerful because my network became bigger. I became closer with some people that lived on the other side of the world and so on. And when I started my business and like learning more about marketing, social media, and when I launched my business, I didn't even have to look for clients. I had so many hot leads that were warmed up for such a long time. So when I launched, all of them became my clients. And that's why very soon, just a few months after launching my business, I started making $4,000 a month. So that was super quick. And I was already traveling in Bali and things like that.
So cool. So many things you've just dropped into the conversation, which I've made notes of. I mean, let me go through the order. Royal weddings. So you're organizing royal weddings in the Middle East?
Yeah, actually, this job was epic. Even the way I got it, again, through social media, actually, through Facebook. But yeah, basically, I got a job in one of the best companies in the whole world that were organizing weddings designs. So it was like wedding design company for billionaires of the world. So most of them were in Qatar and Dubai, but we also went to Mumbai and we were organizing wedding for Ambani family. And Ambani family, like it's Mukesh Ambani is 10th richest person in the world, I think. So it was crazy. And we were in his house as well. And like the house where they live, like their home is a skyscraper and it's the biggest house in the whole world. It's like a massive skyscraper and that's their home. So I was there even having meetings.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. That's such a cool story. I never knew that. Um, I felt like a loser, very harsh. You were very harsh on yourself then when you went back home with your parents. The words that you use and the way you communicate that was really harsh.
But that was true how I felt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
And
that.
I also had expectations for myself. So by that time, that age, and I was expecting more from myself that life would be different. But here I was back in my childhood room.
It's interesting how the pressures of society and what people class as the norm, and if you don't comply with that, then you're always on the outside, and it's quite interesting. It's definitely changing, but it's still there. Do you so with everything that happened to you, you mentioned everything came crashing down quite quickly around the pandemic. So we're talking about 2020, so 4 years ago, around about. Do you believe
Mhm.
that everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, 100%. I feel, what I think. I think you are in control of your life. And can you hear me well? I see that the network is a bit off.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're coming through loud and clear. It's all good. Don't worry. Keep going.
So I do believe we have full control of our life. We determine, like, our destiny depends on the present moment and so on. But also, I believe that at the same time, there are things that are meant to be. That things happen for a reason. And yeah, everything is so connected. When I look back at my story, it's just incredible how even that hard moment in my life, it was just awakening. It was just the beginning when I thought it was the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got to where you are today. I could go off into rabbit holes about that for the whole session, but we won't go into rabbit holes about that because it's so cool. And also something else that came across from what you were saying is I love my quotes. Anyone who's followed me or listened to me for any period of time will know I just love a good quote. And your network is your net worth. And I'm a firm believer of that. And like you were saying, whether it's physical networks or virtual networks, it's all the same. And it's amazing how far we can spread ourselves this day and age and with the technology around us. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
So have you had any defining, has there been one moment so far in the 3.5 years in your coaching journey that's really been a defining moment for you when you've sat there and just thought, this is it?
Mm, I think it's like the journey is so colorful. And mm, can you elaborate a bit more? What do you mean by, this is it? Like, in
It's
what way?
interesting. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the thing I love about this podcast is about sharing our journeys. And for most people, you get to a certain point and you think, you may get different words, but the way it hit me was, fuck, this is what it's all about. And suddenly everything started falling into place. And you suddenly you see everything so flipping clearly now. Has that happened to you yet? And if so, what was that circumstance?
To be honest, yeah, I remember that moment. Of course, there were multiple moments, but one, like at the beginning stage, especially, was before investing in mentors. When I was looking at social media online, at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, content creation, it was like, I don't know how to say, tip of the iceberg, because once I invested and started investing in mentors, I saw everything from a completely different way. It's like I saw the whole piece of this ice, how it works, that there are strategies, methods, and that so many people that are successful today on social media are not necessarily because of their hard work, or maybe they just were smart. They invested in the right people to help them. They invested in advertising. They invested in certain things and they became successful. So I do think you can become successful by just being you and doing it your way. But the whole social media, online business, it's all about strategies, tactics, and so on. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. So, how do you define success as a coach?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because obviously before I started, or when I started my business, my main goal was to make 10K a month, or, afford luxury stuff. Once I started getting that, and even lately, I was thinking, does that really like make you feel super good to buy some luxury things? Like, okay, I got some, and then I'm like, actually, so lately I was evaluating my own values, what is success for me. And I think number one is freedom to do what you love, to spend time with your family, your loved ones. Doesn't have to be luxury, but to be able to freely travel anywhere, spend the time with them, make their lives better as well in some way. Not only yours, but your loved ones, and to have freedom to do what you love. It could be working, but it could be some hobbies, could be dancing. For example, I love dancing. So actually, I think I should go back to dancing.
Any particular type of dancing?
More like commercial, lady style, heels, Beyonce vibes.
Okay. Interesting. The word that came out time and time again in your answer then was freedom.
Hmm.
And I, and I,
Yeah.
and I think I completely agree. I think that's a really great way. It's an amazing way of measuring success is having that time, having that freedom to do what you want to, when you want to, and to be able to help people. That's a really great answer.
Can I ask you, what do you think success is?
I would agree. I would agree with what you say, and I think the time thing. So we all have various challenges going on in our worlds from time to time. Kate, as you know, I recently got married, and Kate jokes with me quite often to say, "It's a good job I haven't got a proper job because I wouldn't be able to get up to some of the stuff that I do now and how I can help family members and people around me and the time I spend doing that if I had what we class as a normal job." But I think, time is probably the most important thing. Time is very much the most important thing out there. You can always get more money, but you can't get more time. And how you choose to spend that time is amazing. I also like the reference to material objects. So, a part of the journey I've been on for the last few years is looking at material objects. And again, there's another great quote is the things you own end up owning you. And
Yeah.
literally, that was like a mind blown moment. And when you think about it, and in fact, we were chatting this morning, walking the dogs this morning about birthdays. We've both got our birthdays coming up, obviously, Valentine's Day coming up. And we made a decision again not to buy material objects for each other, but instead go for experiences
Yeah.
because we're not as nomadic as you right now, but I absolutely love to. We've talked about Thailand and all the other stuff and Dubai and places we've got on our list for this year. And you can't carry all these material objects with you, but you can always have the memories of the stuff you've done in your head. And I think that's so important, so valuable.
Mm-hmm. I literally made a decision for this year as well for myself to stop buying products, items, and just invest in experiences. And to say that it's not only words, I actually last week I invested first time, and I'm gonna go on a retreat. So I'm very happy. In June, I'm gonna go to retreat. And, yeah.
Nice. I like it. That'll be amazing for you. And yeah, it's just so powerful. The biggest investment, the best investment you can ever make in yourself is in you. And the experiences and all those memories, you can never replace them. That's so cool. Okay, moving on. So what's your strategy for handling setbacks or obstacles with your coaching business?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, observing my emotions and feelings. Because if I'm in the feeling and in the emotion, I just know myself, I have to remind that it's just a feeling, I'm just experiencing this. And it's always very important to zoom out because you want to stay rational. You want to stay logical, rational, and just to understand it's just the process. That's how it's supposed to be. Because we want to always be successful and things to work out, but that's not even the point of life, I think. The reason you become successful is because you go through failures. They are so necessary in the journey. So for me personally, self-care is my priority always, especially in the hard moments. That means I always do meditation, breath work, sports, good food. I'm super focused and I'm like 100% focused on the issue that I'm dealing with in order to fix it. Positive thinking, because it's so easy to talk to yourself negatively. And the best way for me is to listen to various affirmations. I listen to videos on YouTube, for example, some motivational speeches, affirmations. I repeat affirmations myself throughout the day. And I go through those hard moments by doing all these things. And I stay consistent with my work, of course, always. I have a specific tasks during the day that I need to do. So I always stay consistent. But on top of that, I'm doing all those things that I just mentioned. And then I go through that hard moment always, without exceptions.
Absolutely. It's interesting that people always look up to people who inspire them and think they have no challenges and everything's just rose tinted and everything's always perfect, but everyone goes through challenges. That's a great answer. The other thing is, it's always a very privileged position sitting here asking the questions because you get to see the the consistent things that happen. And everything you've mentioned there, breath work, affirmations, meditation, exercise, good quality food, there's always a constant stream of the same responses coming from successful people. So anyone
Wow.
listening to this, honestly, you can't miss it. It's there loud and clear, the kind of stuff you need to have, the mindset you need to be successful. Another great answer. Thank you.
Oh,
So
thank you. Mhm.
you're very welcome. What do you enjoy most about being an online coach?
I love connecting with like-minded people. I am extrovert, So the way I get more energy and inspiration is by connecting, by being with people. And for me, it's super important to be surrounded by like-minded people. So I love that coaching brings this opportunity. And especially with the strategy that I use as well, is by attracting ideal clients. So for me, my work, my business is like I don't feel like working literally because I work with amazing people. All of my clients are like my friends and we end up just having fun and then eventually getting also good results, success, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
It's like a 24-hour party. It sounds amazing. I love what you're sharing so far. This is great. So, and again, I'm interested to hear how you answer this because I know it's going to be a massive, a powerful answer. So, how do you manage the whole work-life balance?
um, well, I think I'm kind of a good person to ask this because I do think I have really good work-life balance, to be honest. I think it's a big struggle for a lot of people because I get this question a lot. My clients ask this. And with the amount of me traveling, building business, investing in mentorships, family, friends, like my life is so active, but somehow I just managed to do it all. So, uh, first and most important thing is to find a flow. I really like to find a flow in life and navigating things, following my heart and following the bliss of what makes me feel good. So, this is one. Because it's so unique for everyone. So if suddenly you start living life by certain rules that you think, okay, I should do this and then that, usually doesn't work because what works for someone doesn't work for you. So first important thing is to follow what makes you feel good. Second, of course, discipline. Because if you just follow what feels good, you might forget to work. You might forget a lot of things. So second thing is to combine that with a discipline. So for me, I used to have a to-do list, which I removed only maybe a month ago. I got rid of to-do list. Now everything is on my calendar, and I identified top key tasks that I need to do every day in order for my business to grow, in order for things to move forward. Okay, it can be small tasks, but it's highly related to some kind of progress in my business, sales, money, or whatever. So that means if I'm lazy that day or I want to travel or I want to do something, at least I have to do those 5 things. That can take maybe 2, 3 hours per day. And that's it. So then I don't feel guilty for myself if I'm not working or something. As long as I do those tasks, I'm good.
Love it.
So that's pretty much it. Yeah. And of course, planning my time. Um, yeah, to start with.
Yeah. That's great. Follow what makes you feel good is an amazing and such a powerful line that you dropped then. And it's something I didn't know for ages and ages and ages until 3 years ago. When you start, we all think we have to adopt what everyone else has done and successful people and mirror what they're doing, but it doesn't necessarily work for you. And there's so much pressure. And we talk hustle culture and all those kind of stuff I talk about all the time. And it doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but follow what makes you feel good is an amazing quote. So I will take that all day long. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Um,
I'd like to add
oh,
one more thing, which I think is
please do.
important. The way I live and run my business, because both of them are very incorporated, my business is more like my lifestyle. I work in cycles. So, for example, my whole year is not the same every month or every week. And again, it's about the flow. So, for example, let's say few months I'm completely focused on selling. Okay, it's all about sales, content creation, lead generation, and so on. Once we become fully booked, we get plenty of clients. The next 2, 3 months is about automating the business. It's about creating programs, creating courses, shooting video. So it's completely different vibe of even the way I operate those days. So that's what I mean by that flow as well, which is super important as well in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So, how do you help your clients overcome their limiting self-beliefs?
Um, well, with my clients, whenever they start overthinking, I just try to remind them all the time to just go through the process and trust me as a mentor, trust the process. And whenever they have thoughts, like they start overthinking or having any kind of limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, I always tell them for like dismiss that and focus on the action. action is what will take you further. And of course, I give them exercises and tasks. So I'm always telling them, okay, do this task, for example, as soon as you start overthinking. And many other methods, but like this is the first one that came to my mind, actually.
I'm sitting here nodding, which I understand doesn't help if it's an audio podcast, but this is going to be a video out on YouTube as well. So anyone who's watching it will understand. I'm sat here just nodding, agreeing with everything you've said so far. Um, okay, wrapping up quite nicely. So what do you believe, or how do you believe the future of online coaching is going to pan out over the next, say, 5 years or so?
Well, these things, it's not my strength. I'm very bad with trends, like business and big trends or digital marketing evolution, history. I'm just so bad at these things. So whenever even my clients, they ask me about stuff like that, I'm always like, doesn't matter. Like, okay, if you're interested in this, go ahead, research, but at least I also can calm others down that, that it doesn't matter. Once again, we're so unique, we're so individual, and just follow your path, go through your journey, your process, and you can be super successful even when coaching business is crashing. You know, I think this is key. Whenever you find that bliss yourself and you follow that, any circumstances, they just don't apply to you. So that's the most powerful thing. I think this is what helps you to stand out from the competition, from any other things going on in the world. So yeah, but also to answer your question, I think it's going to grow. I think it's just the beginning. Like if we think that, oh, this is so already full, market is full of coaching. No, actually not. I think that there's so many unqualified coaches. And especially if someone is listening who want to be a coach and maybe they have limiting beliefs that it's oversaturated market, then trust me, in any field is still lacking of good experts. So if you can bring value, if you can bring something good, if you're a good expert, you can actually help people, there is space for you, don't worry.
I think out of 8 billion people in the globe, there's always space for people. Yeah, I do hear that all the time. Oh my God, coaching's so saturated. It's so overfilled with people. But yeah, there's not enough experts out there. I love the advice as well about being focused on the present, ignoring what's going on outside, and just focus on the stuff you can influence. That's really, really powerful advice. Um, you've been very insightful, as I knew you would be. So anyone listening to this, I'll obviously put all your details are in the show notes. Just wherever you're listening this, seeing this, go over to the notes and you'll see all of Ice's details. What's the best way for people to reach out and get in contact with you if they want to learn more about you and follow you, your amazing journey?
Yeah, sure. The best way to get in touch with me is through Instagram. So it's ice space ZDAN. Done. That's it. Just drop me a message and we can connect and talk on there.
It's as easy as that. And as I say, it's all in the show notes. So please, I highly recommend everyone listening to this. If you've taken anything away or thought, that was really, really powerful, trust me, this is the smallest tip of the iceberg. Following Ice, you will get to see so much more. And she drops massive value all the time. Thank you. Appreciate your taking time out of your busy day, your schedule to join me today for this. But yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much as well for having me, for asking me these brilliant questions. And yeah, thank you so much.
Very, very, very insightful conversation with Ice. So much value and such a great outlook on life and that nomadic lifestyle. And yeah, I highly recommend you reach out to her on Instagram, follow her, say a hi, tell her where you found her from, was obviously the Coaching Life pod. Go to the show notes and you'll find all the details there. And then the very last thing I wanted to say was we are obviously at the end of June now, 2024. If you're catching up with this episode in real time, amazing. If you come back to the future, just skip to the end. It's fine. You can miss this bit. But it's all about right now is just stopping, pausing, reflecting, and reviewing on how half one of 2024 has gone. What's worked? What needs more effort? What can you replicate and get even better results? And then plan out the half two for 2024, and let's make sure that 2024 is your best year ever in your coaching business. And it's as simple as that. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me again. I am Rich Hunter Rice, and as always, take action now. And finally, I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Have a great week. thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Coaching Life Pod. And we will see you same time, same place next week.